Good evening and welcome all of you Square One fans to our Week 7 Day 1 stream. And we're gonna kick things off with a match between EUS Anonymous and Orthrus Gaming. I'm Kachka and with me tonight is Kerim.
Yes, the Ketchka duo is back, ladies and gentlemen, and today we have a very spicy set of games for you. We're going to be kicking things off with EUS Anonymous and OG, of course. Today, we're going to be seeing OG play as the undefeated team, as far as I'm concerned, and they're going to be having, however, two subs. First one is going to be KT Smurf playing for the top lane. However, they're also going to be having Vayan play as the AD carry. So that it leaves some leeway possibly open for the side of EUS Anonymous to kick things off with a, how would you say it? Already with an allegory that I can't remember. With a bang? Possibly.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, so they can win it, I think.
And if they do win it, then it will be a pretty big statement because Orthrus Gaming, they are solidifying themselves as one of the top teams, at least so far in this league. And EUS, not so much so. They had to FF a fair share of the games. They also got some of their wins from the FFs. So it is very difficult to judge the strength of this team. But if they can pull off a win, even despite all those subs from Orthrus Gaming, then that's something that they will very much like to do.
Of course, and the thing is, as you said, they got some of their victories from FFs, but the other wins that they got was against kind of the low-tier teams, which was Stopwatch and Phoenix Horizon. The one big difference there is that they managed to win against Royal Reapers in the first week, which, unfortunately, we lost track of simply because there is no VOD to go back to watch it. We had only the league stats of that game. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it was a 36-minute game with Fiora having 2 items finished. Silas being, of course, incredibly fed, and they somehow managed to destroy the next turrets after one crucial team fight is what I managed to gather. So EUS, not precisely a team that really can take these very, very close games ahead cleanly, especially in the early game where they do tend to struggle. They're going to be facing Orthrus Gaming, who are famous for their early game presence, and so it's going to be interesting to watch. It's going to depend heavily on the draft phase, which, once again, remember, subs for everyone here, so it can affect that stage of the game, or rather, the pregame.
It definitely will, and we should be getting into the picks and bans very, very soon. Just this comment will be EUS on the blue side and the side of Orthrus Gaming on the red side. So first pick in this draft does go over to EUS.
So right now there is a couple of power picks, of course, in the meta. We're now going to be playing on 9.14, a lovely patch when it comes to League of Legends, given that TFT was released on this one. I think Riot really stained the bed on this one. Yeah, $65 in one patch. Round of applause, because Jesus Christ, I haven't seen a more buggy game after one patch, but it has been hotfixed, so there isn't going to be anything like a perma-stun Annie. There are some notable nerfs and buffs, one of them being the Lux, which means that I don't think that the teams are going to be banning it from red side now, simply because it isn't that strong of a power pick. Instead, of course, we're going to likely be seeing some Aatroxes, some Aurelias. Mid lane can also see some attention in this draft phase, as Rengar has a really large champion pool in terms of assassins, so if the side of EUS Anonymous wants to be facing something a bit more calm there, they can just focus that ban out. However, we're just starting things off with a Rek'Sai, focusing Kiach. I'm not sure if he's actually played that champion just yet.
I'm not exactly sure either, but I would assume that he likes to play those carry champions. At least he's the big one that could be banned if that's something that EUS want to go for. On the other side, you have the Ahri being banned away from White Links. I'm actually just looking. I'm not sure exactly if he plays it a whole lot, but it is still going to be taken away.
So just some mid lane attention there from the side of Orthrus Gaming. Rengar, an interesting specimen when it comes to OG, because we saw in the first couple of games on stream of OG that Kiak was actually playing for the mid lane role and Rengar was inside of that jungle lane. Now, however, swapped back to their respective roles. Kiak, of course, one of the players who have massive impact on both roles. We all can recall his Kiana game as well as his Talon games. Those VODs are, of course, up on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/SQ1 League, I think. I'm gonna look that up. Yes,
SQ1 League. You've got the link.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, you do, but, you Gotta get my sellouts ready.
Yeah, you do. Well, the last two bans were Ezreal and Thresh, just to sum them up. And Silas is going to be the first pick going over to the side of EUS.
Alright, so Silas, this is the pick that allowed them to take the victory over Royal Reapers. It was actually played in the hands of Kodo. If I'm not mistaken, it was in the top lane for this team, so hopefully they can make something happen with this pick. Of course, still very strong on this patch. Did get a change to the shield that he gets from his E, which means that now he's only as effective with it in the mid lane, where there is a big presence of mages, as it now only grants a magic damage shield. However, could be going top lane, we don't know. Still a relative flex pick.
And on the yes, you got it right in the end. That is what matters. We got Sivir and Sejuani on the other side. Sejuani, one of Kiak's more played junglers. When he goes into that position, he usually opts into that, and Sivir just a very safe scaling option. So far from this draft, Orthrus Gaming don't really seem to be placing so much attention on, you know, trying to get those early game leads, at least not just yet. Xayah is now locked in for EUS. I'm wondering, do they also take the Rakan here?
It is definitely open. Miguel can lock it in right now. I'm a bit unsure of what other priority pick they could get their hands on. Possibly Irelia, if they want to be going for more of a snowball-styled composition. They're gonna leave the Alistar, however, to be locked in as that last pick of the first phase, which is curious. However, it still does do a very similar job of Rakan in that bot lane, and it is a lot more tanky as its innate ability, so they can still make some plays happen there. If it's Silas in the jungle, there also benefits from very strong setups. So already a snowball ready. Speaking of snowball, yeah,
We got a Riven going over to KD Smurfs, the emergency sub into the top lane for Orthrus Gaming. He plays a lot of Riven, and you're gonna have to lock it in the first three bans, because otherwise it would, picks, otherwise it would have been banned, and that just makes the top lane pretty interesting.
Yeah, however, right now what I'm looking at for the bans is actually a Poppy, because assuming that it isn't going to be the Silas locked in for the top lane, Poppy now received a buff where her steadfast presence actually grounds people after they dash into that shield, leaving that to be a very, very strong counter pick. So if it goes through this ban phase, I would not be surprised at all if the side of EUS Anonymous just snap lock it in, just leave the top lane to be in a bit of a neutral state, and leave other avenues for themselves to snowball through.
Alright, well, Akali is going to be the last ban by the side of Orthrus Gaming.
Okay.
The Poppy you mentioned is still open, and it will be still a very strong pick into the Riven especially. So we'll see if they want to get their hands on that. So far, I'm just looking to see what the side of EUS respond with in the top lane, whether that will be the Silas or something else. Because if Kiak decides to pay attention to that top lane, get KD Smurf head on the Riven, suddenly Orthrus Gaming have got a snowball win condition, something that we've seen them execute on time and time again so far.
Yeah, and it's also why I'm so curious about that Akali ban, because you generally would think that Rengar can pick it up. It is a very strong champion right now on 9.14, as she got a buff to her ratios on Q, but, well, there's my answer. They're gonna be locking in Kiana. Kind of a statement pick for Orthrus Gaming at this point. Kiak has managed to wreak havoc in the lines of, I believe it was CBA,
or...
yes.
Yeah,
I believe it was CBA, and now we're gonna be seeing Rengar's performance on it. So if he performs poorly, we can say that he's the inferior mid laner. No, we can't. That's a joke. Please don't lynch me for that.
All right. Well, something that I also noticed: the Silas shield gives him. The Silas thing gives him a shield to magic damage, right?
Yes.
You know what's the counter to it? Go for full AD.
That's true.
Orthrus Gaming with this strategies. However, I see now a lot of scaling being locked in for EUS, and I'm scared if this goes a late game, the team fighting right now that we see from EUS Anonymous is going to be insane.
Ooh, man, if you lock in Gnar as the last pick, you're kind of sacrificing most of your early game potential, especially that he is going to be playing into Riven, which can snowball very hard as soon as Riven gets one kill. So we can expect Kiak's proximity to be laying mostly in that top lane. However, if this Gnar manages to just bully this Riven out of the lane, it can be also very beneficial for EUS Anonymous for this specific pick. And as you said it, late game scaling, definitely the name of the game for this team right here. On the other side, we're seeing a standard OG composition, Assassin in the mid lane, Assassin in the top lane, And they do, however, have a little bit of a different strategy here. They do have a late game carry in the name of Sivir, and technically, if you give her a couple of kills, she can kind of snowball, not precisely too well, but you do at least have some sort of guarantee with some front line, and I do think that in this case, however, it's going to be very even in terms of trying to catch the enemy out. So it's not going to be about any poking whatsoever. It's just going to be who can get ahead in the early game and who can bash in the other opponent's head a bit more into the wall.
Alright, Karim, I'm gonna then give you a bit of an open hand. Which lane is the most exciting in terms of that early snowball?
Ooh. See, I'm torn between top lane and mid lane. Because generally when you see Gnar being played, you think, alright, so he's a ranged top laner, right? He can of course transform into a melee tank, but he can still bully his opposition out. Well, he's gonna be playing into a Riven, who is an incredibly snowbally top laner. If you recall any Riven main that you've ever had in your game, as soon as they don't get a single kill in like first 10 minutes, they're tilted. So that is going to be that main opposition that the side of OG have to overcome, and they kind of have to try and snowball this top lane because a Riven that falls behind is a sad Riven. That being said, why I'm torn also on the mid lane matchup is because it's the same thing there. Cassiopeia can try and just bully the side of Qiyana out of the lane. However, when it comes to pure all-in, Qiyana has the potential to one-shot anyone at level 6, as well as kind of, before that, she really has insane ratios. I think Riot is going to nerf her. But still, a lot of snowball potential and a lot of explosive potential in those two lanes in particular. Gonna be interesting to see how the skill matchup comes out on top, however, as we move into the game in just a couple of minutes, hopefully.
Yeah, just 2 on the spectator DLA. Of course, guys, you have that voting. Yes, you can vote for which team you think is going to win. However, Pixel is also giving a bit of a cue in the chat because Cassiopeia, I believe she did have some sort of a change this patch, or is it upcoming next patch? I did hear something.
No, I believe that it was.
Or am I completely wrong right now?
No, they did change Cassiopeia. They, however, it wasn't in the initial patch, I believe. I think it was released in the middle of it. And okay, I'm just gonna look it up real quick. Okay, so they did tune kind of her late game. They tuned her late game to be a bit less oppressive, with the miasma cooldown being up to 16 seconds at the max rank from 12. And then her E healing, it did get a nerf as well, so not precisely as oppressive. However, still this champion has the potential to be a really, really oppressive teamfight presence, especially if you give her a couple of items. She spikes pretty, we can all recall the massive 2-item spike, as everyone can apparently make that happen on any champion nowadays. It's just disgusting. So they can try and itemize her either for full late game or also for mid game skirmishes, depending on how the early game goes. And in this case, I think I would like to see some early proactive plays from EUS. Get those early power spikes, try and just bully the side of OG out. If you lock this Qiyana or Riven out of the game, you can make a lot more things happen than you would be if you didn't lock him out. So definitely, they can try and find some plays in that regard and snowball accordingly, but it's kind of for them to decide, really. Once again, we don't really have the best track record of them, so it's gonna be up to them to prove us wrong.
Also, let's not forget that if Qiyana and Riven do not get ahead, then you will have at least some armor stacking happening on the side of EUS. I don't expect anyone but Alistar to go for full tank, but you are going to be behind in the damage, in the items, and Riven and Qiyana aren't necessarily the best scalers. I mean, Qiyana does scale nicely into the late game. I think Riven also does have quite a lot of damage, but not in this team composition, not really in this game. You're going to be struggling a lot if you are Orthrus and you do not get that big early leads, and this is where our eyes will be, the early game plays that will most likely decide this whole game, and we'll see if someone can finally hand over a loss to Orthrus Gaming.
And the curious thing on Orthrus Gaming's comp here is that you mentioned that it's going to be all about the early plays. Now, it's not only because they have just a good early game. They still have that Sibir, right? Well, here is when it gets interesting. If you don't actually get the priority for these two assassins in the early game, you're going to be delaying their power spikes. And if you do that, you're never going to be having a strong point to allow this Sivir to scale herself. So if you don't see these assassins getting themselves ahead, it's not only going to be hurting them, but also the rest of their team, simply because Vayne is going to be coming online much later than someone like Xayah, someone like Cassiopeia. Remember, the side of EUS Anonymous have not only a strong late game spike, but as well as a mid game spike. So that is the time that they're playing for, and they have the guarantee in Xayah as well as Silas. So once again, just to batter in that point, it's all about early game because it's incredibly crucial for them to find those kills, and that's exactly why.
And also something that I want to point out for the side of EUS Anonymous, they are pretty much just trying to fight for their playoff hopes. We are in week 7. They are 3-7. It's not the greatest scoreline. And if they do want to make that top 6, which right now I believe it is at 5 points, 5 wins, so it's not too bad. Yes, we get a pause, so that means I can talk even longer about the playoff war since we unlocked it in week 7 already. That will be very crucial for them if they want to get there.
I mean, right now, they're still in the running. It's kind of a miracle run at this point, as we do kind of have the top 4 of the top 4 teams locked in at this very point in time. However,
and then there is Vaptrox, which are pretty strong 5th in my opinion.
Oh yeah, very true. It's actually tied for first right now, isn't it? Between
no, I think CBA just have 9 points above everyone else.
Oh, that's a shame. No, but
Orthrus Gaming have a lot of games to catch up on.
Orthrus Gaming have, I think Pixel told me 4 games to catch up.
5,
on.
I think 5.
5,
if not 6, because they actually. You know what? Never mind. Like I'm actually.
Okay, you're just adding games at this point. No. I don't think. Yeah, well, they still have games to catch up on. So far, they're a really strong contender. Of course, right now I fished the standings for you all lovely people out there. First one is actually CBA with 9 points. Orthrus Gaming is sitting on 7 points in the very second. And then the third one is split between Black Rose Gaming and Voptrack. So you were definitely right about that one. Top 4, top 5, possibly top 6. If we see Glorious Gaming making a little bit of a comeback, can be the case. Of course, we still have a lot of weeks to go through, and anything can happen, from emergency subs, which we are seeing today, to just teams coming out on top somehow. I think we can remember last games week of Fuzzy Esports.
Yeah, I mean, they made it to a week.
They did. That's the sentence that I never thought I'd say. That Fuzzy Esports made it to a week, but props to them. They played well. They snowballed. So it was wonderful. Now it's up to EUS Anonymous to kind of do the same thing as you said. Playoffs, the P word kind of being unlocked for us all casters here at SQ1 to be using. I mean, we love talking about playoffs, right?
I mean, it's a great thing. Like, what are we doing right now? We just had 3 minutes of spectator delay. We are loading into the game, and now we are 30 minutes into the poll.
Hey, man, okay. It sounds like you're flaming the organizers there.
I'm not flaming the organizers.
Fair, because then we would get kicked and we couldn't cast for your lovely folks. I think. Anyway. There is a request in chat to remove the arcade map. Hey, man. I'm gonna tell you. That's a good map. I think. Yeah. I really like the particles, in fact. Don't know why.
I mean, I just like the towers. Everything else is like, it's okay. At least for me. I don't know.
Fair. I mean, hey, it's, how does the saying go? Because we have a saying in Czech, against someone's gusto, there is no reason to argue, or something like that. I don't know. I wouldn't be able to transfer it.
Don't know. I don't know the English equivalent, but it's something like, you shouldn't discuss likes and dislikes. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. No, we shouldn't be trying to translate allegories. Yeah,
yes.
Okay. So, however, to return to the talking about the playoffs, or rather this match specifically, EUS Anonymous so far, I said it before the draft phase even started, they have picked up victories against only the low tier teams. This is, of course, a 2-round robin, so this is the second part of the split. And so today they're going to be playing against one of the top teams in the league right now, Orthrus Gaming being their first match tonight, and the second streamed match is also going to be Europe Saviors Anonymous playing against Voptrax Gaming, who you have mentioned right now. So it's going to be very curious to see what actual form they put on today, because as you said, they kind of gotta put their carry pants on. Kind of have to get their 2-0 week. They have potential.
And then we'll go from there. All right, we are still in a pause.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume we are waiting for someone. There were no
Aw.
messages in the chat.
Fair.
So I don't know.
Someone's missing. Can I get kind of a confirmation on on what happens if like 10 minutes pass from the staff, something like that? That would be wonderful to have. However, something to kind of mention, I feel like I have to talk about right now, is actually Ingix, because what the side of EUS had last week when they were playing against CBA was a really, really good mid lane and jungle synergy. Mr. Bot and Lane together with Ingix made a lot of early game plays, and despite EUS in the end losing against CBA simply because they got outscaled and couldn't get the game kind of to tip over the waterfall, it's, you know, Ingix had a lot of good plays. Before things started going south, he had around 70 to 80% kill participation, and he was on a Trundle, okay? He was playing a goddamn Trundle and he was making plays. So this time, he's on a Sylas, a champion that you wouldn't normally say, alright, he has the best of engage potential, but it's much better than Trundle. And it's also going to be curious to me if he's going to be making these big plays with White Links. Is that going to be possible? Hopefully. I don't know, we just gotta see him. We gotta hammer through this pause.
Yes.
Can we get a pause emoji in the chat? Come on, man.
Yeah, can we get a subscribe, you know, like the subscribe emotes? One of them has to be pause.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's the League of Pauses. I think, who was it? I'm not sure, but someone said it in the Twitch chat that it's the League of Pauses.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it's for those who don't... Yeah, Square One League.
Square and Pause League.
Pause League, yeah. I mean, hey, for those who don't know, me and Kachka hail from the same league, which was noted for a lot of pauses.
I think like every single amateur or
True.
grassroots league has pauses.
Very true. I mean, hey, so far we have a better track record than another community where they were actually having a LAN for the finals, and
Oh yeah,
during the
that's
best
a
of
great
5
story.
after.
Yes.
Okay, so me and Kachka were, by the way, casting throughout the entire weekend. We did like 6 hours of just straight casting, which was fun, and we were dying. But the best of 5 was between these really close teams, right? That somehow managed to get there, and suddenly really close. So somehow, best of 5, first game goes over splendid. Middle of the second game, the internet crashed. Someone messed up the cables at the spot, and we were sitting there with literally 30 minutes of pause. So far, SQ1 has a much better track record. Ladies and gentlemen, it could be worse. Trust me,
Exactly.
It could be much worse.
Just to give some clarification, the way it worked, it was like most of the people there were on a LAN, and apart from one person. So that's why the game could be paused, and me and Karen and me and Karen were, of course, just on our just in our houses and casting, like, you know, remotely, and we were literally sitting there for 30 minutes on the pause. And I think it was game 3 actually as well.
Was it?
I think, because I remember it was 1-1 at that point.
I mean, I know that we were getting like 50 to 60 viewers, and then we had to play the rest of the matches, which me and Kachka weren't casting, by the way. It was like 2 weeks after, and it was just the 2 games. It was just the 2 games played, and it was a quick 2-0 because, you know, the state was 1-1 at the time, and it was wonderful. It was wonderful. So it's a little bit of a story time from our, what do you call it, background, casting background.
Yes, if you can call it that. I mean, it literally happened 4 months ago, so it's not that long ago.
Hey man, experience is experience, right? In today's world, well, where companies constantly require experience, you gotta get every single bit that you can, right?
Yes, you are correct.
Right, I'm always correct.
Players
Anyway.
are reconnecting.
Hey, I think it was Ingix from EUS Anonymous who did disconnect. However, ladies and gentlemen, we're back for the first game of tonight, starting at 30 minutes past. Very, very strong. Please just start the game already.
Yeah, we are going out of the base, and I'm gonna call no level 1 action. So, you know, we're just gonna be looking. At least you can see how people are standing. Like, that's more exciting than seeing the pause.
I think that people right now are tired from that wait alone, that they just don't really want to be invading. Miguel, however, getting chunked here for a tiny bit. Not going to be the biggest detriment to him just yet, but the side of OG managed to get that Pixel Brush Ward in very early on, just to try and spot this Ingix out as soon as they can, really, because if you don't know where the Silas is, it's spelling trouble.
It definitely is, and just taking a look at some of the items that have been picked up, you have the Dawn's Shield for Colbirms, on Zaya, trying to sustain through the poke that Fury will be able to dish out, something also to keep in mind.
So, bot lane matchup isn't going to be precisely the most exciting of all. It's likely just going to be a farm fest. Something, however, that we do have to note is that these champions, Zaya and Sivir, do have a very similar clear speed. Is that what you call it? Speed of wave clear, I suppose. I think that Sivir is going to be getting a bit better just because the Boomerang Blade deals a lot of damage now that they changed a couple of patches ago, so it deals damage on its reverse track as well as on the forward track, so it still can deal a lot of wave clear there. However, Sivir is a lot more mana hungry than Zaya if it comes to her just clearing out the waves that way, so gonna be interesting to see bot lane match. But still, man, I'm excited! Mid lane, top lane, Katie Smurf, man! One trick Riven on a Riven! It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I mean, level 1 is going to be fairly boring. However, if he manages to hit level 2, which from the wave doesn't look like he will hit it first, but if he did, then there was potential for an all-in at level 2. Actually, there are all-ins available in bot lane as well, if you think about the Alistar hitting that level 2, which, once again, is most likely not going to happen before the opposing bot lane. Or actually it is, but it is very quickly equalized, so I'm just gonna wait for the junglers, to be honest, because there is so much engage-disengage dynamic going on in most of the lanes that it's unlikely we'll see any solo kills come through.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you kind of can expect Kiak to try and make something happen because he has a lot of setup in every single lane, so as the Sejuani, he doesn't necessarily have to wait for that ultimate. Ingix, however, is going to be a bit crippled in that he doesn't really have too good of a way to try and set up ganks himself, so if he manages to steal the ult from Sejuani, great, but without it, he can just gank with the same effectiveness, essentially, throughout the entire level 1 through level 6, so Ingix definitely having the better potential, I would say, to try and find something this early on.
Alright, both junglers sticking towards that top side. They've cleared their entire bot side jungles. The bowling crab is still actually there, and it looks like Ingax will be able to take the top lane Scuttle Crab. And actually, wait, did Kodo place a ward in that tribe which as he was passing by? No, he didn't. He only walked by. He actually doesn't have a ward available. So if Kiak wants to go for a gank, he still has that route available.
It does. The side of Riven does actually offer you some setup with the stun that she gets off over W together with the knockup. It's relatively easy to chain together as long as you get this Gnar under control. Still one of the more difficult top laners to gank, as Gnar can just very easily hop and skip and skedaddle away from this melee champion in Riven. Good bait core there from Cobierno. Cobierms?
Yeah,
you call him Kobe. You can call him Kobe.
Yeah,
right?
let's just call him Kobe. I think that is fair enough. Now, Miguel going in onto Vayne, knocks him up in the ball lane as there's also some action happening towards the top side. Katie Smurf is going to take a lot of damage in return as Kodo utilizes that range advantage effectively. Rengar now going in the mid lane. There's trading all across the map. As I now look at the bot side jungle, the jungler is just kind of trading, going away. No one really dies, no one really burns their flash apart from Fury. Now ignite down onto Ingax. Rengar, he's very hungry for the kill. He's trying to dash forward. He's actually grounded. Picks up the first blood, trying to flash away. White Lynx cannot follow it up. That's going to be the kill. Going over to Orthrus, gaining. Vayne has to burn his flash. Ignite is down. He's got this spell shield. Kobe looking for the follow-up. He flashes forward. He picks up the kill, and he's looking to make the grand escape. Fury is on the chase though, and he might knock him down with some luck. Miguel knocking away Kiak, who's gonna slow him down. Katie Smurf somehow makes it down into that bowling. The Alistar is still on the run, very close to that tower. Flash forward, Katie Smurf is gonna secure the kill, and Kobe is just...
Oh my god.
Okay, he actually executes. That is,
This guy. That was a monstrous play. Jesus Christ. Kobe absolutely smurfed there. He used the blade color with the flash to just root his opposition down, managed to burst Vayne down very, very quickly, and so he secures that kind of a A little bit of a turnaround to try and get something out of a very bad situation. However, we still have to remember that one kill did go over into the pockets of Rengar, who has displayed his supreme skills on this Kiana, just utilizing the root from his Q very, very efficiently. This champion is very strong. Talking about strong champions, Silas is in the bot lane. Doesn't get find anything though.
There were no flashes and no summoners with the bot lane of OG, so if that abduct landed, it would have been so damn powerful, and most likely resulting in the kill as now Rengar going in the middle lane. What is that damage even? And he's got the level 6 as well on the Kiana.
So the thing about Kiana, right, she gets a lot of resets and she can trade very efficiently. What you'll always see her do is that she jumps at Cassiopeia with her water element stacked so that she can get a root, then she resets it for an auto attack, like so.
Exactly like that.
Yeah.
Both summoners are going to be forcing that going into the mid lane. The attack connects onto Rengar. No one falls. Both summons down from the Cassiopeia.
Alright, so that's however very crucial. The fact that Whitelings did go for a cleanse managed to get him out of that crucial situation. Just cleansing himself off the stun, still a lot of damage on Rengar. He is staying there, however, is getting a bit more healing on this Cassiopeia after this patch. Not much though, so he still has to be careful because despite Rengar not having his ult up, he can still burst him down very easily, especially with Kiak being here as well.
Ingax has the flash available. The Ipscon is enough to get him out to safety. And Kiak, no level 6 yet. The bot lane of EUS is making their way towards the mid lane. Rengar picks up the kill. He's stunned with the petrifying gaze, but doesn't give a damn. Katie Smith gets Ingax with the ulti, and now Rengar is going to fall to Kobe as Migueli secured a great engage. Kiak is on the run, and can we just talk about that ultimate from Riven?
I think it was a little bit of a misplay from Ingex, but if it wasn't, if Katie Smurf predicted that flash to be going back, man, that was insane. However, I don't think that the Riven had a range, so unfortunately, I don't want to be the mood killer here, but I think that Ingex just missed that flash. But still, we can look at the bigger picture, because now Riven has 2 kills in this top lane. She has been getting bullied by Gnar just a tiny bit, but now she already is building that Caulfield Warhammer. That's gonna turn into a lot more damage very, very soon, and so this Riven is gonna be unchained, just like the Silas on the other team, and well, looking like OG are very, very nicely set up for some good success as the jungler just gives the blue buff to Rengar. That's peak synergy.
What we need to mention is that the players we expected and we wanted to get ahead for OG are doing just that. Rengar 2 kills, looking for a third one.
Yeah.
Picks it up with a supreme display of talent. The thing is, that's just Kiana when you get ahead, and OG did exactly what they needed in this early game. So
yeah, the second kill, she sold her starting item, picked up a Ghost Blade instead, is now going to be able to roam quite a lot, with quite a lot of damage to support it, and so this Kiana is just going to turn into a monster, or sorry, she already is a monster, I forgot to say. 20 CS up on her lane opponent, looking to just be an absolute ruthless beast, this Kiana person.
Alright, well, we've got Migueli making the roams happen. He's actually going to look to lock down Rengar. It could be that he misses the headbutt on a... As an Alistar main, that is a major feels Batman moment because it happened to me so many times.
It's very unfortunate when you're inside of an enemy minion wave and the champion is dashing right behind you. So it's quite difficult, but still. Doesn't get the combo, doesn't manage to lock her down under turret, and Rengar just so makes that escape now. The situation on the other side of the map isn't looking that pretty for EUS either, as right now the BM gets traded upon. Okay.
Fury's just staying top of his health thanks to the Migueli's Alistar combo.
That's just ridiculous.
I mean, that's how Alistar works in the mid game. I mean, mid-early game.
It's true, of course, it's playing into Janna as well, a relatively squishy champ, so we cannot be surprised there, at least not that much. Now, bot lane pushing in very, very aggressively, given that they have that lead in the jungle as well as mid lane. They can afford it because this Kiana can go on any roam that she wishes. Right now, as we see in the jungle,
Rengar tries to go and he still goes for the wide lane and he gets him down. Ingax is nailed by the Glacial Prison, dashing forward onto Rengar, but that's a double for the Kiana. 5-1-1 in the mid lane for Orthrus Gaming.
And we know Orthrus Gaming. They can snowball these games very effectively. However, this game still isn't over just yet. Katie Smurf looking to go in.
He has the win/Kodo just transforms at the right time to survive the knockup. from the broken wings is going to connect, but KT Smurf cannot really extend his trades. Or maybe he can. Flashes down into the turret, is stunned by the Gnar ultimate. Able to get out in the end, but burns his flash.
But actually have kept that ultimate for a really long time, just in case the Riven would be trying to dive in. I'm sorry, you cannot survive
Yeah,
this.
instead it's just Rengar diving.
I mean, at this point, who do you want to feed, right? The already 5-1 Kiana or that 2-0 Riven? Things are looking bleak.
At this point, I just need to see one thing happen in my life to be happy. OG versus CBA. Both Kiana and Vladimir are open. Who wins in that case?
I think
We have an impossible situation.
Kiana wins the lane matchup. That's what I can give you. Not unsure about the rest of the composition, but Kiana definitely wins that one. Miguel flashes in.
Flash ball for Rise Fury has to use the flash away, but it's still stunned up. Is there enough damage? Good Monsoon will keep him out. Flash forward on the pedestal. Fury burns the stopwatch. He's going to be left to die. There's no way he survives. His Colbium is going to get on a challenge. Well, he continues the chase. He gets the head. That was a great flash. It was a flash from Vayne. It was really, really good. Now Kiak though, he's gonna secure that one kill onto Miguel. He's looking to continue the exchange, but Ingak just gets the kill, and Vayne, he should be out in the tower then. Good night. Rengar is gonna get the double right here. Here's the first one, and there's the second one.
Rengar just coming for cleanup duty, picking up the rest of the kills that EUS had to offer. It was a major overextension on their point. Good gangsters seem frustrated, they want to make something happen, but that wasn't it, Chief, as you would likely say, as the cool kids do nowadays. I feel old. But still, it gives a lot more gold to the pockets of OG than to EUS, because now Kiana has 8 kills. That's a thing. Yeah, Ghostbite still finished. Looking for Duskbite as well. I think that right now Rengar is going to be able to finish it, in fact. Another lane that we have to look at the top lane.
Well, Miguel is pulling off the ROMs. You have to give him that. Is it enough to lock down KT Smurf? That's the real question on our minds. Rengar is on his way, and this is looking very bleak. This is looking so damn bad for Miguel. He falls down. KT Smurf gets on a killing spree. That's the 12th kill in 30 minutes for Orthrus Gaming.
That was just a slaughter right there. They had a really, really juicy beefsteak lined up for themselves, and they just took it. Unfortunately, Miguel, he's kind of overextending quite a bit on this Alistar. He's trying to find these plays. He knows that he is the engager for the side of the US, but this isn't it. Once again, you're just running into the enemy team who is so far ahead. At this point, you cannot even hope to win any engagement when Kiana isn't in the mid lane, just because she's so fast on the roam. Kiana gets jumped on top of.
Fury's gonna use that Howling Gale. The hijack Monsoon from Ingak gets him away from Rengar, but only for the time being. And you know, we wondered, are the Souths for Orthrus Gaming enough to make them look different at the very least? Well, I don't have time to finish this point because Fury is going to get engaged. The point as well, he doesn't quite get the stun with the trample on the hand has been burned by Vayne. And well, coming back to the point, the answer is no. Rengar and Kiak, those two members just taking it in turns to carry Orthrus Gaming, and they do so without a fault, at least so far.
Right now, of course, Rengar's still a huge monster. We were kind of a bit skeptical when what was that in animation? Anyway, when OG stepped up against CBA, it was the first time that we were going to be seeing Kiak play in the jungle, and he pulled off a SQ1, and we were very skeptical of Rengar and about his performance as a mid laner, but right now, he's just blowing it out of the water, snowballing efficiently and very meticulously at that, just on a roam constantly. If you cannot find a kill in the mid lane, it doesn't matter. As Kiana, you get bonus movement speed in the place of the element. I was thinking about how to form that sentence in English, but yeah, it's a disgusting champion. Roams for assassinations. That's exactly what Rengar is doing.
And it's 2 items of lethality plus the armor penetration. That's an Alistar. He's meant to be tanky with his ultimate. Fury is going to secure the kill. Rengar could be looking for more, but I think he's going to give Copiums a break.
And also look how fast he's just running through the jungle. Kiak is there looking for Kobe. Not gonna find it just yet. Ingex is there, but can you really find against 5 members? No! Not even against 2 as Ingex right now.
Yeah, Kiak is going to cash in some of that sweet, sweet goal, and it's just the death ball. It is the definition of a death ball. As now KT Smurf, he's just He's just sitting in the top lane. He's trying to be like, hey guys, I'm also winning my lane, but he's just getting outshined by Rengar, and it's sad for EUS Anonymous, definitely, because, you know, we said it, it's week 7. They need to pick up the wins, but
just picking up Alistar right now. It's
just
okay, you can
Kiana.
continue.
Just ban Kiana.
Against OG? Yes, because it's kind of turning into a G2 situation of who can play Pyke the best. It's a Kiana. I mean, when I was first learning League of Legends, the first thing that I learned about Snowball champions was that it's champions like Riven and Katarina. Well, I think that we can say that Kiana is definitely one of those, if not the best snowballing champion in the game right now. If you get a single kill, you can just blow anyone up, and even Alistar at this point, level 12 on Rengar means that he's going to be able to get a level lead on anyone in the game right now, so there isn't anything that you can do against the power of base stats and double lethality items.
Well, here comes KD's nerf onto Engax. Poor Engax, he doesn't even get a break.
Oh,
Despite Rengar not being here, the knockup connects. KD Smurf on a rampage, and it's just looking bleak for EUS, that's all I'm gonna say. It's a great snowball, perfectly executed as Rengar looking for his 11th kill. He dodges from the petrifying gaze, and
I'm sorry, was that just an auto attack and an E?
I really don't know. I really don't know.
I think he just got dealt his full HP in an ignite, an auto attack, and his dash. I think that's what happened. So, it's definitely disgusting right now. If you keep on talking, I'm gonna go look at the replay.
Yes.
Yeah, just keep on talking. It's
okay, so, Colbjorn disappears. Anyone who has seen him, let us know. I would really love to know how he is doing right now. To be honest, he's doing the best out of the entire EU as well. Rengar, he now might have overextended. 1 versus 3, not sure if he can pull that one. You know what, I'm sorry for doubting you. He's the legendary, he's looking to turn it around. Onto Miguel, he's stuck without anywhere to go. That's a double for the Kiana. Coden out of the time, he gets a big Mega now! Is it going to be enough? That's a great fight for EUS. They pick up 2 kills. It's going to be a shutdown onto white lanes, and Kodo, he finds some breathing room. Rengar, he's going to just equalize it all and picks up a double in return.
That's a murder. You cannot broadcast this. What the hell?
It's so sad. That Megana ultimate was great. Like, the team fighting, we start to see what the composition of EUS is meant to do. But then there's Rengar. Like, he's a team composition in his own right.
Yeah, it's the shame when you get a team fighting composition that really relies on a mid-game spike and you just do not meet those requirements. If you're playing against snowbally assassins, you just cannot give them those kills because it then dismantles all of your composition, as no one right now is tanky enough to inhibit this Kiana. I think I'll just walk past the Juwali, that's fine. Nobody minds that one at this point. But it's the sad thing and the sad reality of EUS's comp. I'm trying to think desperately what they can do right now to try and slow down this moving force of OG, because 10k over Goldie, most of that is sitting on Rengar.
Look at the individual gold. Rengar has double the gold of white lanes.
Hey man, that is something that we do not talk about at this point. Jesus Christ.
Thank you for reminding us, Pixel.
Is there a term for this? Because we have a flame horizon.
It's just
I think this would be the tear horizon, because right now EUS are just shedding tears. No? Is that
no. Rengar is going to have some self-control. He forces the ultimate from an Alistar by throwing his Q.
I feel like it's a Stockholm syndrome at this point for EUS. They're hostages, and they're locked in this room with this psychotic individual of this fat Kiana just roaming about the jungle, finding kills left and right. Now, the thing that if we try to focus on the positives of the EUS's comp is that they actually have really good wave clear, and Kiana has to get in range to try and assassinate people, so they can try and just wave clear these minions away, try and scale up, try and get into a point where their composition just starts doing better than the side of OG. As I say that, Inkex just gets obliterated.
Oh, he actually does manage to dodge away from the supreme display of talent. The root catches all onto Rengar. Don't forget, that man has a big shutdown. The Baron is going to be the target. Also, this game is going to secure that without contest. Something to keep in mind though as we move forward. You mentioned the wave clear, it's going to be much harder now with the Dharma, but the team fight presence is always there. The damage might not be great, but I don't really see any more tanks than Kiak in the composition of OG.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. If the side of EUS can try and stabilize the game at least just a tiny bit by just wave clearing, by just holding the inhibitor to it, they can try and scale. They can try and get on a level playing field, but that looks so far right now, as Rengar is just chasing after the tankiest of members of EUS. There are no objectives that they can try and fight around in this neutral jungle, because, well, OG are just that strong. They're just that powerful. So what you have to do is just give these neutral objectives up and try to defend your turrets. Give up some of them. Rengar, please don't. Thank you. Okay.
I'm just gonna have to hold my breath every time he walks within, I don't know, like 2,000 unit radius of anyone, no matter how much health they have or how tanky they are. As now, Orthrus Gaming, they are looking to, well, finish this game. I think it's fair to say that's the next objective, just finish it. You have to break into the base first though, and let's see, do they just go for the brute force or do they decide to try and play it out?
I think they can brute force it. They can definitely just jump mid. As you can see, Rengar is just jumping on top of White Lynx, deletes him with no questions, with no hesitation. They can do that in any single lane right now. Rengar can dive with no problem. And given that they have this Baron buff,
well, here's the engagement with Corbus. He has to already use the Firestorm. He gets the Blade Caller in onto Rengar, but it just is not enough. It's one shutdown though as Vayne falls for the side of Orthrus, getting the Mega Gnar ultimate. It just doesn't do a damn thing, and it's going to be a near ace, a double kill for HP Smurf. Ingar's the only member surviving. He gets his down onto Rengar, who doesn't care. He doesn't give a damn. It's 22 minutes. That's an ace. Orthrus Gaming are just stomping the side of the EUS.
Yeah, at this point, it doesn't matter what you try to do, just because the side of Orthrus Gaming are so far ahead, they can afford to make mistakes. They make one mistake, alright, they make a second mistake by overextending, that doesn't matter either, because they're now barreling into the base, onto the second Nexus turret, looking to just play with their food. Come on, this is just rude. Okay. Just looking to dismantle the base catch at this.
Yes, you need to take every single objective on the map. Please don't, he didn't take a single tower top lane.
We already waited. I mean, to be fair, we were waiting for like 10 minutes in a pause, and in double that time, Orthrus Gaming managed to absolutely dismantle EUS, so that is something to be proud of if you're Orthrus Gaming. Perhaps even EUS. I mean, honestly, it's no real, what did you call it, shame to be losing against OG, because they had one win condition, which was feed either Kiana or Riven, and they managed to feed both of them. And Riven was actually neutralized by Kodo in that top lane a lot, so big props to him in that regard. But this Rengar is absolutely uninhibited on this Kiana, who I'll admit, I personally think is a tiny bit broken. Yeah, you can swear that.
Yeah, Rengar is just legendary, and I think what is important to point out is I don't think this is because EUS played bad. I just think it's because Orthrus played so well into their objectives as Ingas. He's gonna get ran down by Vayne, and that's just what happens when you play into your win conditions as a snowball team comp, and you have these champions and you play it that well. As now Rengar, he actually is forced to use his stopwatch. The Nexus is exposed and the members of EUS are falling. There goes Colby and his White Lynx. He just cannot do a thing, and Orthrus Gaming, that is what clean snowballs look like. Orthrus Gaming still undefeated. They take down EUS.
And it's very much a situation that we're used to with OG. However, not every single game of theirs has looked this clean, and I think that the interesting part about this very game is that outside of it being a massive stomp, we also have to look at the individual performance of someone like Rengar. I know that I personally know that a lot of casters that I talked to after the match of OG versus Royal Reapers, some people had doubts about his performance in particular on the Akali, that he didn't really do a lot and that it was in fact Kiak's show. Well, I think that today that was disproven. That myth has been dispelled as Rengar absolutely took over this game, and it just shows us that there is more than one person on the side of OG that you have to be scared of when you come preparing and facing this team.
You can see the damage. It's not fun, but you know, if we can take away anything, is that if you are facing OG, Just ban Kiana.
Yes.
It might not win you the game, but it will make sure that this doesn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, she's broken.
So yes.
I'm gonna make that bold claim. She's getting nerfed next patch after enough skins are sold, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I
think
mean,
that's-
that is
that
how
doesn't
it...
happen.
Yeah. Well, however, we're going to throw it over to the short break. After that, we will follow EUS to see if they can bounce back in their match against Vaptrox. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back.